this is Lachette from Scarlet Moon Creations, and I'm back with a new video, my October favorites. I may seem a little awkward because, for two reasons. One, staring in a different direction than normal. I'm used to looking slightly to my left for my camera focus, and now it's like up and to the right, to my right. So that's one thing. And also, it's winter time, and I live in New York City in an older apartment building. So the lovely sound in the background that might sound like I have one of those little indoor waterfalls for ambiance and meditation is the sound of my radiator. Please excuse that. I hope it doesn't bother you. Actually, thirdly, I'm wearing this lipstick that I haven't before, and I don't know how I feel about the color. So yeah, let's get started with my favorites. This is going to be kind of a booktube heavy video because October was just that. But I got my tablet here, and let me just refresh the page because I added some detail to my blog post in case you don't know, so that my description doesn't get super long. I make a blog post to correspond with every one of these favorites videos, and in that blog post I link to everything that I talk about in my favorites videos. So you can always find that blog post link in the description down below. Now, where is October favorites? Okay, so starting off, fall allergies. I am one of those people that have allergies all year round. Um, Not much of I can do about it. I have indoor allergies, outdoor allergies. I have food allergies. I have plant allergies. I have uh, pet allergies. I have allergies to chemicals like cleaning supplies, but also to things like dust. So that's fun, cleaning. No, it's really not. But my fall allergies are mostly, other than the buildup of dust and kind of uh, dry air indoors, and also to the dead fallen leaves that are everywhere in the city right now. So one of the perks of living in the northeast of the United States, technically the very bottom edge sliver of New England, that is New York State and New York City. I don't even know if we count as New England, to be perfectly honest, but whatever. We have our New York pride, and that's carried us far. Um, One of the perks of living here is fall foliage. So the beautiful colors that the leaves change into on the trees, but they're dying and they're falling on the ground, and it kills my allergies. So I've always just been slightly happier with fall allergies because the biggest symptom is my eyes tearing up, and for a long time, I didn't realize that's what it was. I thought it was something else irritating my eyes. I don't know. But my eye doctor last year pointed out, he's like, your eyes are really dry. I'm like, they are? I feel like I'm constantly rubbing them. Last year was a really bad year. I rubbed so bad, like, my lids were like black and painful, because of the constant wiping and drying of my eyes. So yeah, fun times. He's like, yeah, they're tearing because they're dry, and artificial tear solution is the solution for you. So I am very grateful for this stuff. Once fall comes around, I have to do this pretty much every morning, 2 drops in each eye. That was interesting because I have 20/20 vision and always have. Uh, and I've never put anything in my eyes before. Don't touch my eyes except to wipe away those tears. So that was interesting to get used to, but I'm forever grateful for this because otherwise I have a very blurry and irritating day. So I just wanted to get that out the way. It's definitely one of my favorite things, even though I can't really recommend it. I do believe everyone has to get a prescription for artificial tear solution, even though it's not really proprietary, it's a generic brand. So next, chamomile tea is another thing that, for whatever reasons, helps with allergies, with itchy and dry throats. It calms the symptoms, the reactions, which in turn is what makes things worse, what makes my day irritating and frustrating and unfocused. I've been drinking a lot of this with honey, of course, and occasionally ginger when I'm feeling like my throat's getting a little sore. For me, that's like the first sign I'm going to get sick. Getting a cold or the flu, that as my throat starts to feel warm and just scratchy, ginger and chamomile tea. I don't even know like where these people come from. So next, sage. I was just gonna do this tincture, but then I realized I've been using a lot of sage oil as well. So this one, if it'll focus for like a split second, is from Oricacia. I I've used this sage tincture for a couple of years now. A couple of years ago, a friend of mine made me some, and during the fall season, and sage is antiviral, I think it is. I'm forgetting. I know this, but I forgot. And it's a tincture, which means like she used an alcohol and steeped a whole bunch of sage leaves in it for like a month or so, maybe a month and a half. And I just take roughly this much a day, usually on days when I'm not feeling so great. Like I mentioned, when I start feeling sick, where it's not allergies, my throat starts to get scratchy and warm. And when I feel that, I'm automatically like, let me take the sage, kill it, kill all the germs. It might be antibacterial instead of antiviral, or it might be both, but it kills germs. And I take it orally. I just, that, once every couple of hours. At the time of filming this video, I'm coming off of like a couple of days of just being this close to having the flu. So that being said, I'm very grateful for that. But on the other hand, I am not a fan of the taste of sage or the scent, like when you're burning the leaves. I know it is popular within the metaphysical and the new age and the witchy and the occult communities to burn sage incense, and I don't like it. So I've not really used the oil in a warmer. I have this in some of my products, and that's about it. And it works well in those that I have. But this year during Witchathon, which I'll explain in a second, Witchathon, I was doing some meditations with my spirit guides, and I something told me to grab the sage. I grabbed some other stuff, like black pepper oil for, personal power, Scorpio power, sandalwood for grounding and centering, and what else? What else did I grab? Oh, and rose absolute for, self-love, protection, that kind of thing. And the sage, it says thought-provoking on here. I do associate sage with that kind of thing, with mental clarity, but also it's a spiritual scent, and I wanted something for meditation purposes, and I've fallen in love with the scent of sage now, but only the oil. This is, just to clarify, the Salvia officinalis oil. This is not clary sage. It's so yeah. That's the other sage I've been loving this month. This blend I definitely think I'm going to use a lot of for meditations and journeying in the future, especially when working with my spirit guides. So that is another favorite. Get you some sage oil, guys. It's good for you and helpful. Next. So this month, October, I participated in 1 week. I participated in my first readathon called Witchathon, which was run by Rhiannon from Crescent Moon Reads. Rhiannon, I came across relatively recently. She started a challenge earlier this year, which I had come across, called the Wheel of the Year Challenge. And or the Wheel of the Year tag, and you're basically like, she has prompts for every day in the Wheel of the Year, and you are supposed to pick a book that corresponds with those prompts and do your YouTube video on that. And I had seen it, and I was like, I don't know if that's, booktube, or if that's like which tube, or pagan YouTube stuff. So I was kind of hesitating, and I didn't really watch her video. Recently though, I watched Katie Flowers do her video, and I enjoyed the way she did it. Katie is a pagan and also tarot and oracle card reader professionally, and I've liked her videos for a very long time, for years and years. So I saw her do it, and I was like, okay. She used a lot of nonfiction books and pagan books, so I was like, okay, maybe this is the thing, but let me watch the original video. And I watched Rhiannon's video, loved it, loved her, fell in love, came across her Witchathon announcement video like a week and a half before Witchathon started, which was from October 24th to the 31st, and I was like, I want to do this. I love, love, love BookTube. It is, other than a few book blogs and of course Bookstagram, the closest I've gotten, well, that's not true. I was part of a book club very briefly, very, very briefly, but it's the closest I've gotten to kind of sharing and talking to other people about the books I'm reading, the books that they're reading, and what they love about them, and just finding fun things like tags to talk about books. And I never thought about doing it. I didn't feel like I had anything to add to it. I did start a blog, the Pagan Book Blog or something. I don't remember what it was, but several years ago, and it was mostly just for reviews and not only my own, but mine and others. So but it didn't really take off. I haven't given up on it. Oh, it's the Magical Librarian. So go check it out. And if you'd like, submit a review on a magic or pagan witch book that you read, if you read any. Do check it out because it's still up there. I have a Facebook page and everything. So I accept reviews. Um, so yeah. Uh, I've talked about books I read before in my favorites videos, um, because, yeah, like I said, it didn't feel like they really fit anywhere else in my life. Reading has just been a thing that I do, and I'm not the only one who does it, but it seems like there's no one I can really talk to about the books that I do read. So, whatever. Um, Witchathon was nice. I enjoyed so much about it. For example, this book, Shadow of Night. Um, this was my favorite book that I read for Witchathon. I've done my Witchathon wrap up. I did my Witchathon to be read. There's 2 vlogs from Witchathon. So do go check those out. But in my wrap up, I hadn't finished this book in time by the end of Witchathon, so I couldn't really talk about it. And my biggest takeaways. This is book 2 of the All Souls trilogy. I had to go back and look. I remember enjoying A Discovery of Witches, but looking at my Goodreads review, um, I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed this. And I realized, and I might go back and listen to an audiobook just to refresh myself on Discovery of Witches, but I realized that um, their relationship was less cheesy between Matt and Diana in this, so I definitely appreciate that. Um, we have a bigger focus on the historical because in this one they're like in 1590 instead of 2000 whatever year this came out. So it's like, there's all these historical figures like Christopher Marlowe. And I like Deborah Harkness, the author, her take on all of those historical figures. I like the growing of Diana and Matthew's relationship over the course of this book. It's just more realistic, even though it's fiction. They both have their issues. We get a lot more background about Matthew in this book. And I like how the magical system that the witches use in this world has now evolved or grown because Diana has now learned more, so we know more, and it's like, oh, this is deeper than I originally thought, and it's a little bit more unique now, which I appreciate. I had picked up Discovery of Witches because Discovery of Witches. I do like books with witches in them. I'm a witch. I want to read about witches, and to be perfectly honest, it was fiction witches that had me looking for the real thing in the real world that I live in. So I am very grateful to Rhiannon at Crescent Moon Reads for starting this challenge. Now, since this challenge, I, kind of like delved back into book 2, but I would like never walk away from watching book 2 videos if I didn't need to make money and live. So my current favorite booktubers at the moment other than Rhiannon, who is also a witch, by the way, or a pagan, I think she calls herself. I don't know, or maybe it's both. I know she's very specific about saying she's more of a traditional witch than Wiccan, and I think my coven kind of falls in between. Within our coven, we're Wiccan, but we also don't make a big deal about what is what. It's a recognized traditional witchcraft uh, tradition. But I don't really want to get into the politics of pagans and witchcraft in this video. That's a whole other thing. But okay, so Becca at Becca and the Books, um, new follower. I discovered her thanks to Witchathon, and I just really like her very real attitude. Like, it's like, I don't like this book, it's this way, and that's what it is, and you guys just have to live with it. My life is not going so great right now, and you guys just have to live with it. That kind of thing. And we have a bit of a serious similarity in personality. I don't know how much it's shown in my videos, but there's a little bit of sarcasm and being jaded in it, and you know, I don't know why, like, it's called being real and just acknowledging the negative sides of life, but and being, kind of having them in the forefront. And I don't know, that's okay. But I don't know why it's called being real. I don't feel like it's any realer than whatever. But off topic, I do like her reviews and book recommendations. They're very thorough and still including her opinion and likes and dislikes. So it's not like she just puts it out there and leaves it. It's, there's good reasoning behind it, but it's biased because reading books is subjective. Next, Olive from a book Olive. She didn't do Witchathon, but I think I found her through Roxanne at the Novel Sanctuary, who I'll talk about in a second. Okay. Olive at the book Olive I like because she does nonfiction books, and that is not something I really come across, period. Um, I know that my former boss recommended nonfiction books because that's all he read. Um, and a couple of other people, and usually they're like kind of self-improvement, which is not a bad thing, but there are other nonfiction books that I've like had my eye on, but because I'm so emotionally attached to fiction, I usually go for those first, except if it's like pagan books, and then, I'm like, well, I gotta try that out. Um, so yeah, Olive gives very thorough, kind of almost professional quality videos and reviews of the books that she's reading and why she picks things. She runs Nonfiction November, which is a challenge to read nonfiction during the month of November that I am participating in. I don't know that I'll do a video on them, though my December favorites might include some of the books I've read for or during Nonfiction November. But either way, Olive does read fiction books as well, but I appreciate her channel being nonfiction focused. It reminds me that there are other books I do want to put some energy into getting and reading. Next, Roxanne at the Novel Sanctuary, who I've actually been following for a year or two now. Maybe it's been a year, maybe a little less than a year, but I've been following her for a while. She's another New Yorker, Latina, and she has a broad spectrum of book types that she talks about. Uh, Not the typical booktuber, um, but I identify with her being a New Yorker and Latina, and I appreciate the books that she talks about and recommends because they are ones that I wouldn't normally go looking for, but I do find interesting. And I also appreciate she does like these New York City bookstore videos. And I mean, honestly, we don't have tons of bookstores. Like, I live in the Bronx. We don't have a bookstore. We had one. It was Barnes& and Nobles, and they closed it. They closed it twice, and now it's officially closed. There is, however, a new bookstore coming out, a independent bookstore, the Lit Bar, and you should definitely go find out about that on Instagram because I will be there when it's open. So yeah, I just identify with Roxanne's style and appreciate the exposure to all kinds of books. And next, Lauren at the Novel Lush. I also identify with Lauren. I came across her videos thanks to Witchathon, and Lauren is a, in my opinion, successful booktuber and YouTuber. Um, she doesn't have like a million video views on every video, but whatever. I appreciate her because it's a black woman who is rare, honestly, on YouTube in general, but BookTube specifically. And I know there's been a whole thing about black booktubers lately that, again, not the video for, but I also appreciate how Lauren has a slightly lower tone like I do, and she speaks a little slower. A lot of booktubers are very peppy and excited, and they speak quickly, and I like that. It keeps me interested, but also it's one of the reasons why I don't think, why I never thought that I could be a good booktuber, because I'm like, I would probably bore people with how slow I talk. But people were watching my other videos, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Uh, Lauren also reads a lot of the books that I do, which I rarely see on BookTube. BookTube is definitely very YA focused, and it seems to me very fantasy focused as well. Fantasy and paranormal focused, which is okay because I read both a lot, but like I like YA, I read YA, but I also have read, adult books for a whole lot longer. Because of the kid I was, how I grew up, I wasn't really interested in the non-classic books that were appropriate for my age. Um, the very few that existed. So I I was reading things like The Lord of the Rings in middle school, and Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles in high school, and things with very dark and mature and dense text. And sex. I read a lot of romance books my senior year of high school and into college, just because that's what we got. And romance books were, for the most part, adult books. The closest we get is like these historical romances where the girl is like 16 and the guy's like 32 or whatever, because that's how it was back in the day. But I'm not judging, I'm just saying. So that's my comfort zone. Here YA comes along, and like I said, I have no problem with it, but what about the ones I love? My favorite series, my favorite characters, my favorite genres all happen to be adult focused, and most of the booktubers that I read don't really talk about those. So Lauren does the urban fantasies and the paranormal romance, and like literally just watching her videos, even if she's not talking about that, I see the books on her shelves and I'm like, yes, yes. So anyway, I appreciate Lauren's realness as well. Seems a little jaded and definitely a little bit of a lush with a wine glass in her hand in half the videos, which I appreciate. So go on, Lauren, and watch her videos and love her too. Lastly, because this video is getting long, Brittany at Brittany the Bibliophile, another one I found through Witchathon. She's young and cool. And that's it. And gorgeous, of course. All of these ladies are gorgeous. And I do follow male booktubers. Maybe I'll talk about them next month. Because there are two or three that I really love. One of which I found through Witchathon. TJ Reads the Stars. But I don't know. Brittany is more, out of everyone I've mentioned, the most traditional type of booktuber that's popular, and that's okay. I appreciate her attention to detail and her organization and her enthusiasm so much. And I'm just like she seems to have it together and love books, and I'm just like, how do you do that at 22? So yeah, that's my gushing about booktubers this month. um Next, I'm going to talk about James Luke Burke Creative, who also has a YouTube channel. But I discovered him through YouTube first. He does have an Instagram as well. And last year, I think it was, I discovered him. I say I discovered him like, I saw him selling his mixtape out of his trunk on the street, and I brought him to and signed him with a company or whatever. But that's not, I just mean I found him through Allie on YouTube, and James makes great art. Um, and it's kind of like this weird, macabre mix of fashion drawing and Disney. So, um, but first of all, his Australian accent is awesome. Second of all, he's a little bit ridiculous. I mean this in a good way, like, not ridiculous. Actually, he's not ridiculous. He's hilarious. That's what, I don't know why I say ridiculous. He's hilarious. And his videos are always fun, and he explains things so well. And it's just like, just for enjoyment. Like, he does, get money and business out of this. He has an Etsy shop. But like, he's enjoying this. And he started, focusing on doing art on YouTube and showing it on Instagram as well, and all of that because as a kid he enjoyed drawing, but he had an accident, and that kind of like put his, dance career on indefinite hiatus. His Disney career on indefinite hiatus, and that is amazing to me. That's a story that I needed to learn and hear, and he's always so very encouraging to other people, and like he has the Facebook group and he's like, yeah guys, try to do things like this, and this is how I do stuff, but you know, it's whatever. Just throw things like his collage videos is always just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just putting shit on the paper, and it's his thing, and but he's super supportive of other people and very positive, but without like the whole ignoring that there's negative things in life. So go watch James Luberg's videos because the man is awesome and he deserves all the love, and he will give you all the love in return. Lastly, mostly on Instagram, that she does have some YouTube videos. Journal with a Purpose. Another, while James is more like art journaling, um, I don't even know what I'm doing. He's like on the cusp of art journaling. Like he kind of does it, but it's more just like drawing and art. Um, that kind of happens to be in a journal. Um, Journal with a Purpose is just amazing. She does so many different types of journals, and I kind of just love them all, and I appreciate seeing her Instagram because I'd like to do them all. So she does like some art journaling, junk journaling, and bullet journaling, and I'm trying to look up because I forgot her name, and that feels wrong. Like her real name. Uh, Beautiful journaling. So yeah, she has journal with me videos. Helen is Journal with a Purpose, and her bullet journals are lovely and very organized, um, and aesthetic to a point. I like that she has this kind of minimal yet not look. I love how she uses color in her journals, but also I do love the like the junk journals and uh her regular journal, just like journaling for getting your thoughts down. And it's just aesthetically pleasing but also organized, and it's something that just brings, it feels grounding. It brings me focus and centering, just to go through her Instagram feed, just to see her posts on my Instagram. And I believe she's posting more on YouTube, so go check her out because you guys know I love journaling. I had to put these two journalers, two of my favorites, into this video. Um, so we're getting kind of long, so I'll stop here, but those are my favorites for the month of October. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed talking about it, and I will see you guys for the November plan with me, the November favorites video. Thank you for watching.